ready. Welcome everybody to the final season wrap-up of Inside Raider Nation. I'm John Estes, filling in for Mike Prater, and I'd like to introduce John Lindsey, Coach John Lindsey. It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Listen, I wanted to kind of wrap up by talking a little bit about the final game of the season, Lanier. If you could just go over some positives, and we definitely like to talk about, I know a lot of the fans out there want to know about the defeat. What do you think we could have done better? What do you think that we could pull out of that to go forward with the season?
Well, you know, obviously making the playoffs is all. That's one of our top goals. You know, coming in, that was one of the goals that I set, and you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. And you know, drawing Lanier, they had the defensive player of the year, the defensive end, and I'll be honest with you, most of the time I don't mind facing those type kids because they usually don't play hard, and that's what made that kid kind of special. Is he played hard. He was a hard special teams. He played hard, and you know, he played real well, and so. I think Lanier was a good, very focused opponent for us. They had lost the year before in the first round, and I think they were very focused for us. And I think our kids handled it well. I think they handled the trip well going over also. You know, started out the game, very tight game. You know, we had the tip ball turnover. They had a pair of defensive ends that were 6'5" and 6'6", and you know, it's just hard for us to throw over those guys.
Sure, yeah.
And, you know, they had the tip ball right there early, and it fell right into the outside linebacker free safety arms, and, you know, they scored. So we started out moving the ball well, and just, you know, we made a mistake, and they took advantage of it. And, you know, you look back on the game, there was a ton of positives. We had a lot of great things, you know, happen for us during the game, and, you know, just felt like that we were a couple of plays away, really, from winning the ball game. I mean, you go back and you look, there was a couple times, I think the biggest thing was turnovers. You know, Dylan rolled out one time, and he's trying to make a play. Sure. We had a mess up. Jalen was supposed to go in motion. He didn't go in motion, and, you know, it was just one of those things of kids being kids, and everything didn't come together. And Dylan's usually, you know, really good at impromptu stuff, and he rolled out and made a kind of a bad decision on the throw, but you know, if the kid would have caught it, we'd probably all been patting him on the back and excited. So
exactly,
you know, it's one of those things. So that kind of went against us, but thought our defense played great throughout until late in the fourth quarter. We needed to stop. We got it to midfield in the fourth quarter. The score was 21-13. It was 4th and 2 at midfield. We had the ball, and it's one of those decisions that you got to make. Do you kick it? Do you go for it? And felt like in a 21-13 game, we needed to kick the ball. And
sure.
I always asked Coach Willingham, our defense coordinator, can you stop them? And he said, yeah, we can stop them. We stopped them all night. And I said, that's the way I felt. So we chose to punt the ball. Fantastic punt. Caleb punted it down inside the 10, and, you know, felt like we had really good field position. And, you know, I hate to say it, but Lanier, we were in position to make a lot of plays, and they just kind of grunted it out and kept getting first downs and got a couple of big plays. And, man, you know, they ate the whole clock up. I mean, that drive, we kept getting them to third down, and I think there was actually a fourth down or two. I mean, it's been a while since that game, but I think there was actually a fourth down conversion during it also. Yeah. So, you know, we had a goal line stand on them, and just that was the one that I felt like was the difference, that they had gotten knocked out of the playoffs the year before, and their kids reacted a little different.
Yeah, they were hungry.
They had been there, you know, and
sure.
I felt like that kind of caught us a little bit, because we had not been in the playoffs the year before and in it this year, and you know, it just one of those things, man. I was very proud of our kids. I thought their effort was good. Thought they represented us well, and you know, a lot of things we go back and look and make, you know, changes, but you know, we were in the game and had a chance to win it.
Something just struck me, you know, and I, like many of these guys, have thought about this over the offseason. One more win, and we could have possibly been in the same position that Allatoona was in when they were in the number 1 seed and went on to win the state championship. And congratulations to Allatoona.
Absolutely.
But that's the team we beat. Tell me a little bit about how in the offseason you're sitting there thinking, one more win, one more play, one more.
Well, I think it goes back to investment. Allatoona had a lot invested. I'm friends with several of their coaches, and one of them kept posting a lot of pictures on Facebook, their kids working in the weight room and, making a lot of gains and had recruiters come through. Man, Altoona's got this and got that. So I knew they had a good football team coming. And, you look at those things and after we played them, I felt like we matched up real well with them. And, felt like we played a really solid game. And, you look back, I don't know that they really had a superstar. The tailback everybody talked about was this great player, and he's a good player.
Sure.
But the offensive line was good.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback,
big.
after the Holloman kid got hurt, the quarterback really stepped up. Man, he impressed me more than any of them, to be honest with you. Just the way he took command and played. And, they got a lot of depth, a lot of depth. So they've done a good job. But to get back to us, like you said, we were one game away from being in that position. And it had been I don't want to say it's much easier, but it's always easier to play a 4 seed than it is a 1 seed.
Exactly.
So you go back and you look the Altoona game, the Alexander game. I mean, we're sitting there wanting the last second field goal, to win that game or to tie it and go into overtime. So I felt like we were real close. This time of year decides whether you win or lose games. And I wasn't here last year. And this is the time of year you develop leadership. This is the time of year that your kids gain 25, 30 pounds in the weight room. And I'm not talking about weight, I'm talking about strength pounds in the weight room. And those are the two things that carry you. We've got 8 or 10 kids out here today throwing the football and playing football and covering each other one-on-one. It's 30 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping, I don't know if they did this last year, but I know I like what I see today because they're here working. Football games are won January, through the end of school. Summertime,
right.
Once it gets here, your games are limited. Everybody's working, but who's working in January? And I think Altoona had that kind of football team.
I can tell you from my personal perspective and a lot of people that I've talked to is there's a lot of excitement and a lot of people really think that we want East back to number 1 in this county and we want to see East go number 1 in this state. But let me ask some more before we get to that because I definitely want to ask you in a minute about springtime. All right, we're inside the locker room with Senior Cole Benson. How are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. Listen, why don't you tell me a little bit about your position and how your assignments act on the job on the field?
All right. Well, I've been the center here the past 2 years and really responsible for keeping us at our pace with the no huddle, calling out gaps and protections for the offensive line, kind of just making sure everything's in check up there.
Oh, fantastic! Because see, a lot of people don't know centers do a whole lot more than hike the ball.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that get the blame when something goes wrong, right? Okay. Yeah. Listen, you planning on going to college, or are you going to jump right into a career? You got a technical school?
Well, I haven't decided if I'm going to go play college baseball yet or just go to school. I've been accepted to a couple of schools, and I'm more than likely just going to go to college, major in business administration or computer science.
Oh, fantastic. You ever thought about walking on somewhere?
For baseball, not for football.
Baseball? Okay. Oh, baseball's a good sport, too.
Yeah.
All right, great. Tell me about your final season. What did it mean to you to enter the playoffs and know, this is the last game I'm going to play as a Raider?
It was tough whenever it ended, but yes, it was good for our senior year because junior year it wasn't very good. Sophomore year it was all right. We made the playoffs, but I feel like we were just a lot better team this year all around, coaching, everything.
Sure.
Good to go out that way and hopefully be like a stepping stone for the future.
Well, tell the locker room, tell these upcoming seniors what it's going to be like for them, and give them some ideas of things they can do to be a better leader on the field for our team.
I mean, just you can't take it for granted. It goes by fast, and when it's done, it's done. Just better enjoy it. Everybody says it goes by fast, but it really does when it's all gone.
That's good advice. Thank you, Cole, very much. Appreciate it.
Yep.
The season wrap up. How did the whole season as a whole come together for you? And let's kind of just put 2015 to bed. Kind of do a past, present, and future thing here. Let's put 2015 to bed and talk about maybe some of the seniors and so forth.
Putting it, talking about the past and putting it to bed. Felt like we ended the season on a great note. We made the playoffs. We got back to winning again. Had a chance to really, really, take the program to the next level. And I think we're really close there. You know, this season's I think it's gonna kind of catapult us to the next level is what I'm hoping, because our kids got a taste of it, you know, of where, when we finish with that positive, I think it really shot our program to the next level. Where we're at now, was that the next question?
Yeah, that is the next
Yeah.
question. I want you to look at the camera right here and tell the locker room, just like I had the seniors do. Guys coming up, this is where we are. This is what
Gotcha.
you need to be doing. We can't put together practices right now, but here's what you can be doing. You
Yeah.
can be looking at your diet. You can be looking at individual weight room. You can
Yeah.
be getting yourself in shape, and you can be out here throwing.
You pretty much said it. No, you know, we're in the weight room right now. I've been preaching to the guys. The seniors they've moved on, and you know, and I'm for them. They're kind of enjoying that second semester of their senior year. So the juniors are there now, looking around for leadership. We're starting to get in order of leadership, and you know, right now I'm focusing on our off season. What can we do to get stronger? What can we do to gain mental toughness? We have some kids here that, I hate to say it, but some parents that have coddled them a little bit, and they're at the point right now that, hey, it's time to separate. It's time for you to
Sure.
be a young man.
That's
It's
right.
time for you to step up in the weight room. You know, all the years, it's time. And I'm focusing on the senior recruiting right now. That's my two main goals right now, is to make sure we're getting everything we can get out of our kids during first period weight training and throughout all the weight trainings. And then what can I do for these seniors? Can I get one in school? You know, that's the goal. You know, what can I do to help those kids attack their future? So that's kind of where we're at right now. I had a lot of schools come through, got a lot of interesting kids. You know, I tell them it's a resume. Make grades, make plays. Everything else takes care of itself. And future for us, we've got a lot of young kids coming. Next year, we're going to be young and old. That's kind of the way I see us. You know, we've got a lot of key kids coming back. We've got a lot coming back on both sides of the ball, but then we've got some spots open that I don't know yet who's going to fill it, and I think it's going to be some young sophomores that are coming up for us that are going to battle some of these juniors, next year's juniors, for jobs. So
Sure.
we're starting to kind of see that now, but you know, so we'll be young and old for the future, but you know, got our calendar set. I know we're going to talk about it in a minute. Got a great off-season plan for us to take that next step up and become a championship program.
Great. All right, we're inside the locker room with Thomas Medley. Good to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
I want to ask you a little bit about your position and some of your assignments on the field.
All right. Well, first off, I had my position changed like 3 times senior year. So I started off playing safety, then went to linebacker, then finished my year at DN. But I was on a couple special teams, kickoff and punt. So
Well, tell me about DN a little bit. What kind of assignments do you have when you're playing DN?
pretty much keep it in tight, always close.
Get to the quarterback and never let anybody outside, right?
Yeah.
Great. All right. Listen, are you plan on going to college? You looking at some different schools, or are you going to jump into a career?
I've actually been looking at West Georgia Technical, a 2-year college. That's
Okay.
probably what I'm going to do, because I've been kind of thinking about doing the military for being a Marine. But my parents want me to try out college a little bit, so I'm going to do 2 years and then hopefully do that.
I completely understand. I know Mama says, hey, I love the military and all, but that's my baby. All right. Tell me about your final year. Talk to me a little bit about the emotion of, I'm a senior, and now the Lanier game is over, I'm done with high school football. Tell me about that emotionally.
Well, when it first ended, I was kind of like in denial, I guess, when the last game was, because I've been doing it for 4 years, and including middle school, I've been doing it for like 7. But it was pretty emotional. A lot of my friends came up to me. They were crying a little bit in the locker room after the end of it. It was a bummer that we lost, but it was still a good season. We came together towards the end. It was a good game.
Yeah. We used to tell our kids in rec ball, guys, you need to every game enjoy this, because you're only going to get to play so many football
Yeah.
games. Let me ask you this. Tell me about your entire career here at East. What is the changes, and how have you dealt with all that, and what does it mean to you to go out? We went on a win. We had a great season, went to the playoffs. So tell me how that turnaround, how that felt for you.
Wait. What do you mean?
Just, you had a tumultuous season. You had a couple of different coaches. Tell me how ending
our end
ending
season?
the season on a high note, what that meant to you, through the entire career, through your entire high school career.
Well, I'd say that our final season was the best season, to be honest, because we've had a couple coaches switched around. We had a friend passed in eighth grade.
Yeah.
So really, at the very end, we knew we had to come together. Like it's mandatory. Like we have to do it. It's our last season. We played all four years of high school football. We had to do it. We had to come together.
Well, I've asked the other seniors this, so I want to ask you this. Could you look into the camera there and tell the locker room what it feels like to be a senior and give them some advice on what they can do to lift this team up next year?
It goes by fast. You don't take the games for granted.
Yeah.
You're all going to get mad at each other, especially during the summer because no one likes summer practice. But when it's over, you're going to enjoy all those summer practices and all those spring practices that you didn't like or enjoy. But
Thank
you got to
you.
don't take it for granted.
Exactly. All right, Thomas. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I did want you to talk a little bit about the spring now. Tell us what to expect, when does spring start, that type of thing, and what do these kids need to be ready for?
Coming up spring, it starts right at the beginning of May. I've got our calendar laid out, and I'll pass all that out at our banquet on January 20th. So
Fantastic.
we'll get that out.
Thank you. Banquet information.
Yeah, we'll pass that out. It's got all of our dates on it, key dates in the summer. But we are going to have spring football. I kind of went back and forth whether to have spring, but felt like all these young kids coming up, we needed it. And
We need spring football.
yes, we do.
I would be
Well,
hurt
If we had a
spring
veteran, if we had a veteran team, I would go with 2 scrimmages because
Sure.
you can get a lot out of 2 scrimmages. But with the young kids coming up and us still being new in our program, I felt like we needed spring football. So we'll have it, and it'll be 10 days, and I've got, like I said, all on the calendar. We'll have our spring game, and then that'll kick us into our summer schedule.
Super. I did want to talk a little bit about the division change-up. A lot of people may not know that we are staying at 5A. They've actually created a 7A, and I actually have there's going to be 9 teams. According to the current GHSA schedule, we're going to be Region 7. We're playing Carrollton, Cass, Hiram, Kell, Paulding County, Rome, Villarica, and Woodland, Cartersville. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me how do you think we're going to mesh, and there's going to be 5 teams not going to the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, it's a full region. I felt like we were in a really tough region this past year. I mean, obviously we had a state championship come out of it. We had a couple of other teams that played deep, second round type teams. So I don't think, honestly, I think we're going to be right where we need to be just because Altoona, we're trading Altoona for Kell, in my mind. That's
Exactly.
We're trading some teams off, but numbers wise, it's going to be better for us. Those schools, Altoona, South Paulding, they're all bigger than us. They're bigger schools. Alexander, they're bigger schools than us, which gives them more depth. And we were so thin this year, so thin. So I think it's going to be good for us. And I'm looking forward to it. I really think that we're going to have the toughest region in the state. When I went back and looked, top to bottom.
I agree.
I think we have the toughest region.
I agree.
So I feel like, wherever you finish, if you can just make the playoffs out of our region, whether you're champion or 4 seed, I think you got a really good chance to go on.
I completely agree.
So, looking at it, new schools that we hadn't played, obviously Carrollton will be a new school, rich tradition. They'll have a new coach. They'll be well prepared, so that'll be a tough challenge for us. Kell up here, tradition, they've been winning and doing a good job. Rome, they had a good year this year. They're very young, so they'll have a great team. I don't know much about Cass. I don't know much, about some of the other schools, but Hiram we've played, Paulding we've played, Villarica we've played. So I'm excited about being in our region. We got some growing up to do, and it'll be a quality region for us to be in for sure.
Super. Anything you want to add before we close up here, sir?
I don't think so. Just, appreciate everybody's support. Looking forward to this upcoming season. Please push your kids and make sure we got Black Dawn coming up. That's on the calendar as well in March. So, we gotta have some investment in our program during this time of year. That's the part we've been missing. So, on our end, we're pushing grades and want to make this the best program in the state of Georgia, and I think we can get there.
Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm excited for the upcoming season, and I think you guys all need to pay very, very close attention to what he said. Talk to your kids, make sure they're doing those things outside in the weight room, and make sure their nutrition's up to par. And if you have any questions about that, come to me, please. I'd love to talk to you about nutrition.
I'd like to add one more
Sure,
thing.
please.
Junior Raider program starts working out Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. I know we've got some coming from Moses, got some coming from PB Rich, and all over. So we're going to start 4:15. We're done at 5:30 every Tuesday and Thursday. We're getting them here. We're teaching them how to do the Olympic lifts. We're going through our stretching routine, our speed training routine. Just want to get them here. If they're playing baseball, basketball, whatever, by all means, we want them to play that sport, and it
Yes.
comes first. I mean, it does.
Sure.
Right now, I want them to play as much as they can, compete. But if they're not, I don't want them sitting at home. I want them here in our program working, getting, it's their first step being a Raider. And it's open for all upcoming 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, and anybody that's in a high school that doesn't have weight training. Now, if some of our other kids that are in weight training want to come back and lift, by all means, we'll welcome them too.
Exactly.
But, that's what we're doing, is just the basics and getting them here every Tuesday and Thursday that we have school, 4:15, 5:30.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
We're excited. Thank you for watching Inside Raider Nation. I'll see you next time.